What's up everybody? Welcome to the channel. I'm Steven. This is Steven in Stereo. In today's video, we are getting back into albums. We're getting back into album mode, something that I have been sort of neglecting on this channel, but I am trying to fix that. So in today's video, we're checking out 5 Seconds of Summer with their new release, Calm. Now, I have never listened to any of their albums before. I've heard a lot of singles off of this album in particular. It's where I first, I guess, was introduced into the band. So there's obviously going to be a back catalog I'm going to have to check out. Some of them I have and they are on this channel, so if you're new here, make sure to check those out. But I'm pretty excited to get into this because there's such a range of genres coming from this group, something that I've seen bands do before, but I don't know that I've seen it to this extent, and I've really enjoyed being able to click a single from them and pretty much have no idea what the sound is going to be that I get out of it. So we're going to check this out today. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video to let YouTube know that you liked it, and all that stuff out of the way, I kind of just want to get into this, so let's go. We're going to start with those harmonies. Woo! Oh, that bass is so heavy. How are they going to start right out of the gate with a song that might end up being my favorite on the album? I am always going to be a sucker for harmonies, and that entire song was harmonized, and I love that so much. I'm learning more and more that each of them are very incredible singers, and so to hear more vocals on one track right away, also with that little bit of like a Spanish sound, there was very heavy drums happening, that acoustic guitar happening in the back. What a great song all in all. And again, if you would have showed me this song and not told me it was 5 Seconds of Summer, I would have had no idea, and I actually like that about this band. I fucking love that. So that was originally the first track that I checked out from them, and it was that moment where I watched the video and I could tell that it was inspired by Black Hole Sun, and I think I talked about that most of the video, but one thing that really surprised me was to find out that 5 Seconds of Summer wasn't just like a boy band, which is what I kind of thought they were. They actually had like a lot of rock elements to them, a lot of instrumental, and it was really cool to actually see that moment. And if you notice, Red Desert and No Shame sound totally different, and I think that's going to be the ongoing theme of this album. Gets me really excited to go back into their catalog and see what else. And that was the first song I heard from them, and I still dig it. Glad you didn't listen when the world was trying to slow me. Had to fuck it up before I really got to know me. Shout out to the old me and everything you showed me. So my opinion on this song still stays the same. I absolutely love the fact that they are able to take those rock elements, bring them into a more modern sound with an R&B/trap style vibe in the back. And I think this is where I really started to notice the vocalist Luke, because I mentioned in the video for this, I'm pretty sure, that he could have literally done any genre. Like, it's amazing to hear his ranges and what he's really capable of doing. But I'm so glad that he chose to go the route that he did, where we've got this experimental rock band essentially that is sort of redefining the mold of what like rock and pop rock and alt rock really are, because they have no problem experimenting, and you hear it on this track a lot with those R&B vibes. So I love that so much. Fuck. Oh, I love that guitar riff. Dude, I told you guys I'm building a summer playlist, and this song is going to end up on it right away. This is one of those songs that I can't imagine not being played on the radio over and over again, because there's no like elements to it that make it seem like it's not radio friendly. And again, it's one of those songs where, like, unless you really know their catalog, you wouldn't know this is 5 Seconds of Summer. I feel like this is an ongoing theme with this album, is that I'm constantly going to be trying to figure out what is making me think that they only have one sound. There is so many sounds and so much diversity, and we're only 4 tracks in. I do love those higher ranges. I'm not sure if it was Luke that was singing in this. I think it is, but I'm not sure. I just know that he hits those notes. But hearing those on here, him just getting higher and higher, those falsettos just sound so beautiful. And again, that more modern sound with a little bit of a rock twist, because again, towards the end there, you get a really great guitar riff going. You get some very heavy drums leading in, and I love that they're able to take all of that, combine it, and slam it into one song.
Some days you're the only thing I know.
God. Remember the first time I heard this song, I spent so much time thinking that all of this music was happening on like a synthesizer or a keyboard, because these days that's how a lot of music is made. And then you remember that 5 Seconds of Summer is still an actual band, not just a group. And I remember watching the music video and I finally started to realize that all these things that I thought were synthesizers, because everything in this is like super 80s, new wave, it's dark, electronic. And then I see the bass player with that riff that I thought was on a keyboard, and then you hear those heavy drums coming in. Dude, Luke's vocals in this, those high range vocals that he gets in the chorus, pretty much solidified the fact that I was going to love this band, just because I love that range from him. And hearing it all put together in this with such an amazing sound with really great influences, you can't help but love this.
You wanna be closer.
Now, when I watched the music video, the lyric video for this, I praised this group so much because, one, this sounded completely different, and someone let me know in the comments it's because one of the other band members are actually singing in this song, and I think that's one of the things that adds to the complexity of their music, is that so many of them are so talented in multiple ways, including vocals, that they are able to actually do an entire song like this. And I thought that was so cool, because if you would have told me, again, that this was 5 Seconds of Summer, I couldn't have placed this on this album. I would have had no idea. So it's so cool to have that. The other thing I really like about this song is that it is heavily inspired by 80s pop. And they did it so well. They did it to a T. Instrumentally, it sounds straight up out of the era, so it's really cool to see that. And again, this is another one of those songs that I said is easily going to be on a summer playlist. Like, how do you listen to this song and not feel happy? So again, 6 tracks in, and I'm still pretty blown away at the experimentation on this album already. It's pretty cool that they can pick up such a broad audience simply due to the fact that there's so much range here.
You got a million reasons to hesitate, but I was out of the mess and all the broken pieces.
So good. To hear them go from Teeth to Wildflower to Best Years, it's so cool to hear those sounds change so much. This was the first more of a pop ballad style song. There was a lot of build-up happening in that track as well, but it's just so amazing to hear what they're attempting to work with both vocally and instrumentally. And this is another one of those songs that it needs to end up being a single. This needs to be on the radio. I could probably play that game with most of these songs, but I feel like this in particular sounds very similar to you know, the type of songs that were kind of out on the radio, like when The Fray was really big. I think it would fit perfectly. It has that very big build-up chorus with, you know, very beautiful vocals as always. Really great meaning to the song. And yeah, I'm just so shocked that so far most of these songs could have been singles. Like, we could just put this whole album on the radio. Fuck it.
I won't leave, I love you, you love me. You're not in the same way, not in the same way. I walk in the door, but you won't let me let go.
Oh my god, that fucking chorus is going to be stuck in my head forever. They put that together, the arrangement on that chorus, so well. Anytime you can hear a song and immediately can know most of the words right away, I feel like it's going to be something that is drilled into your head. And it was a very different sound from them. It sounded a little bit like, let me see. They had a little bit of the Old Me vibes in it with the sort of pop R&B happening there. I think it was a little bit better in this one though. As much as I love Old Me, I just feel like they did that sound a little bit better here. And again, making a chorus with such great notes, such great highlights that you're going to end up singing it right after. Like, I can't wait to play the song again already. I think that's when you know that it's going to be a great track. Oh, that riff. Oh my god. I love the guitar riff that starts out that track. That's so good. I hope someone tabs that out. I'm not very good at learning by ear because I would love to learn how to play that. It just sounded so good. The instrumentation on this song, very dark, very like very much of a build up, and I do enjoy that. But my favorite thing that stands out here is, I think it's Luke. I'm pretty sure it is. Those high ranges, I usually assume it's Luke. This is his best moment on this album, and I know that's a lot for me to say whenever there's so many great moments that have happened in the 8 tracks prior, but this is an absolutely beautiful vocal performance from him. I think that if you were to want to show somebody something about Luke to get them like on board with his vocals, this would be the song I would go to immediately. There's a lot of emotion in it. You can tell that he really was feeling these lyrics. There's a lot of stuff happening in the background that is only adding to his vocals and not taking it away. Sometimes you hear instruments that are either too aggressive or maybe too loud or maybe have too much going on, and so you kind of pull back on listening to the vocals. However, I feel like here everything added there, it just brought all that passion and emotion into it, and so I would highly suggest sharing this one of all if someone's never heard this band before, because there's a lot to love here. I love the instrumentals here.
The sun goes down, we all get lonely. Just one more taste of you, my love. Killing me slowly, was it wrong? Thought you broke, was it wrong? Thought you broke.
I'm actually pretty surprised that I've heard so much of this R&B sound from them, knowing that they are an actual band. It's very interesting to see how they've been able to create those instruments on this album and done it so well. I think on here, we see another example of that. This is another song where you could spend the whole time just assuming this was made on a keyboard, because that's exactly what the instrumental sounds like. It sounds like an instrumental for a R&B group or for a hip-hop group. And so when you can hear that and know that the band is making it, I think it makes me a little bit more excited about it, just because I know that, you know, with track to track, we're going to get something different. And they're going to go from this, you know, R&B pop sound and then just tune it just a little bit different, and we're going to get more of a rock sound the next song, and it gets me excited. One thing that I would have changed on this song though is the Thin White Lies part, where it sounded like there was like a group of people singing in the back. I actually would have really enjoyed to get maybe some harmonization from the band instead, just because I do know that they are just amazing with that, and I think it would have worked a little bit better in this song. And that's a weird for me. I actually like crowd vocals a lot. A lot of the bands that I like, the crowd vocals are the best part, but I feel like in this song, that's the only thing I would have changed.
Waiting for mine, you're just my kind. Our house on fire, we're burning.
Oh, what? So I was actually already sold on this song right in the beginning when we got the acoustic guitar. I just thought that track was really great. I love the vocals over it. It was soothing, it was soft, it was very chill. I could kind of feel something was about to happen. I had no idea that chorus was coming though. And again, those harmonies from this group, that's really one of their strongest points. It's something that if they could do it in every song, and even though it might get repetitive to some people, I feel like it would be such an amazing quality to have on every song. But I really enjoyed it here. That upbeat chorus, those heavy drums, that acoustic guitar, and of course, great bass lines and beautiful vocals. This is what I've come to enjoy from 5 Seconds of Summer, and I think a song like this nailed it on that. I was actually really surprised by the chorus because you really don't feel that coming, and when it does and it picks up the pace that it did, it's great. Perfect.
When you're with someone else, want to tell you that I'm changing.
Ooh, I love those vocals.
I don't think that my heart is built to last more than a night. I know your friends don't like me.
I will always preach this on my channel, but I love a good closing track. I like to listen to albums start to finish in the order that the band decided to mix them in. And I think it's an important way to listen to albums. Maybe not all the time, but like if you're listening to records, you have no choice but to listen to them in order. And I think it does a good job because this is a good closing track. I think that using this moment to have a downplayed instrument and actually focusing on just the lyrics and using, you know, these beautiful medleys, these beautiful vocals, really great harmonies, all the things I love so much about this band. But to bring it to a soft close, I think that that's actually a great way to end an album. I'm actually surprised. There wasn't as much genre moving as I had expected there to be, They're definitely the first 6 tracks. I can actually see it kind of looking at this. The first 6 tracks, I feel like we're really switching genres up a lot. But after Wildflower, and we got to what would be the other side of the record, or in this case, track 7, I feel like we started to get a little bit more of that pop / R&B sound that they have come to do so well. And I'm actually okay with that. I do think that the way that they mixed it was interesting because most of the first 6 songs we actually got as singles, and I will be very surprised if we don't see more singles coming from this album, because I heard at least 8, maybe 9 songs that I could picture on the radio right away. And you don't want everything to be a single. You got to save a surprise for somebody to buy the album. But the fact that they are able to pull that off, I personally, and I am someone who, again, will listen to a record sometimes. I never skip any songs. But there's not a single song that I would have skipped on this album. And that's saying a lot, because sometimes you get a song that you're just kind of like not really vibing with, or you don't really feel it. But I feel like if you're listening to this album in its entirety, there's nothing I would skip on this. And again, that is saying a lot. Now, my favorite song stands to be Red Desert. I think they started this album pretty much the same way they closed it, on a very high note, really focusing on their strong points, really focusing on those vocals, those lyrics, the harmonizing, all those things that, again, I've come to love. They started and finished the album with that. They sandwiched it perfectly. So I am genuinely impressed with this album. 12 songs is kind of short. I think it's the right length for a lot of people. It's kind of short. I feel like they could have put 15 or 16 on here, and I would have been okay with that, because every song was on such a high note. It would have just been amazing to see what they could have kept doing. But it does leave room for another album to come out in a year or two, and of course fans are always going to be excited about that as well. I'm genuinely impressed. I'm not gonna lie. You guys have been preaching that I had to check this album out. I was hesitant because I haven't done albums as much lately. They do take a lot more work when it comes to editing. But I was really intrigued by this album. I knew that I had to put some time away to listen to it, and I'm really glad I did. So I just want to say thank you to all of the 5 Seconds of Summer fans. You guys have hit me up on Instagram, on Twitter. Some of the 5 Seconds of Summer update pages have been reposting all my stuff, and you guys have been blowing up my direct messages, asking me to check this group out more in depth, more thoroughly, and I am impressed on the first album listen, so I am very interested to go back in their catalog and check out more. I really hope you guys liked today's video. If you did, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, I'm very active on Instagram and Twitter, so make sure to follow me over there. I post a lot about music. Thank you guys again for checking out the channel and for watching my album reaction to Calm. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.